time,
Yeah.
just like you do.
Yeah. But at this stage, they don't pay, do they? They pay when they need to.
They're not paying at all today. Today is an information session for them
Yeah.
to have a think and to take the information, look at the website, look at the materials further, and then decide. And then if they're interested in going, they will then email us.
Sure. And what they go to is sort of a 1 week kind of, it's workshops, isn't it?
No, it's not workshops. It's an event that helps them understand the industry. It's not just workshops. It's something where we bring in industry professionals to teach the kids about the industry, to teach the parents about the industry. There's so much that these young people don't understand. How to get into the business, or even, why they're interested in getting into business. It's an opportunity for them, really, in the big scheme of things, to understand themselves. The reason kids get involved in the arts is to understand themselves. To know yourself is the key, and many parents do that through sports. Many parents send their kids off to play soccer, hockey, and baseball, and things like that. Other kids are more interested in the arts, and that's their way of expressing themselves and getting to know themselves.
How long have you been doing music?
You
You were acting when you were born.
Yeah, I started in the industry in 1985.
Right.
Long time ago. And when I first started in the industry, I didn't have the opportunity to do something like this. I wasn't given the chance to do something that was so accessible as it is now today for kids. Back in the 1980s, you were given an opportunity out of really just trying really hard to get someone to pay attention to you. You'd get a headshot done. You'd get a black and white headshot done. You'd submit that headshot in, and you would hope that an agent would pay attention to you, and then have that agent then send you out on auditions. And I was lucky enough to work in daytime television in the United States. And I was doing that while I was in high school. And I was a young person working in an industry full of adults.
Yeah.
And I was finding my way. So in America, with soap operas in America, you're given essentially that dialogue the evening before. You're told to memorize the lines, and then you do dry blocking that morning when you're going to shoot. So the reason why the acting is so bad is because you're just trying to memorize your lines and know where to stand.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. So that was a wonderful experience for me. So I had the opportunity to do that. And at the time, it was a way for us for my family and I, to bond. And my mother had to go out and get a job to pay for my acting classes, and it was something that I had a great passion for. So my parents recognized at a very early age that this was something that was going to motivate me. This was going to inspire me. And as I did all of that work, then as I got into my 20s, I started doing some episodic. I'm sure you've seen. I did an episode of Murder, She Wrote and other films. Then I started producing and directing television in my 20s. And most recently, I just finished producing a film called Lip Service in the United States. So I'm still actively involved in production as well. And we've been holding the event down at the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin now since beginning of 2010 was our first event down there. And it's been very successful. And the industry support that we have in the United States is great. We've had all of the top industry professionals, whether they be managers, agents, casting directors, celebrities, obviously, who've been on various kids networks, who have appeared at the event. And the purpose of the event is to motivate and to inspire young talent.
And tell me about that today. Tell me how many, we are rolling now, so tell me how many kids you've got coming in today.
We'll probably end up seeing about, I'd say, 400 to 500 kids today.
And what kind of feedback have they given you in advance of this? Are they glad to have it here in New Zealand?
I am getting feedback from parents because they've read the Herald article. So their first impression of us being here is something that they should be wary of. So that was my welcome to New Zealand.
Why do you think, and it hasn't just been the Herald, I understand, I did do a little bit of searching before I came down, and why do you think a program like this does attract some level of criticism? Why do you think?
I love that you asked that question. I really do, because I never had the opportunity to answer the question, so I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about it. What happens is, with newspapers, with media in the United States, I can only speak for the U.S., the stuff that you see online is stuff that generates eyeballs. It's business. So it sells newspapers, it creates ratings for advertising, and it's a wonderful thing. Now, the opportunities that you see, like this one, this is the first opportunity that I've had, and I thank you for it, to actually sit down and talk to someone about this in this kind of way, because in the past, we are sometimes, like with the Herald, not given the opportunity to address any concerns or questions up front. We had a front page article come out, and we found out about it after it came out. So then I emailed, and we emailed Nicholas and said, hey, can we please give you some information, because you need to understand who we are and what we do. Because I felt as though it was very unfortunate, because the information wasn't fact-filled, it was fear-filled, if you will, to create that kind of drama, because of course it sells newspapers. You're dealing with things that you see on the internet where we haven't had a chance to respond, such as the Herald, and you're also seeing things on the internet where they're not even using the answers that we're providing, because it doesn't serve the story. It's very easy for parents to be concerned. I'm a father, and I have a little boy, and I know what it's like when you're looking at your son and you're saying to him, what is it that motivates you? What is it that inspires you? And if what motivates my son is to go play soccer or hockey, that's great. If what motivates my son is this industry, then I would support him in that too. But I would also ask myself 3 questions. Is it fun? Is it safe? Is it educational? So when I ask myself that question about the event, it is. The other thing that comes up too is the word scam is thrown around a lot. And because the event costs money to go to and to attend, doesn't make it a scam. If a scam to me is where you're not getting the perceived value of what you're paying for. So if you look at the Herald or you look at the other articles that you'll see online, none of these people have attended the event or paid for the event. So without attending the event, how do you know that it is a scam? These people haven't paid for a service, per se, and don't have a complete picture of it. The families that go to the event love it. If you see our Facebook page, we have over 30,000 fans worldwide, which is great.
Let's look at how much does it cost to do. From here they go to that Week of Disney that you were talking about at the Disney Hotel.
It's not a Disney hotel, it's a Starwood property.
Right.
It's the Swan and Dolphin.
It's not associated with Disney, is it?
It's not owned by Disney at all, no.
Right.
It's inside the park, but it's not a Disney-owned property.
And so tell me about that week. How much does that week cost?
It depends on the various levels of participation. So you'll have a young person that will attend maybe the smallest program, which would be $1,950 USD, upwards of $7,900 USD.
And so what does the basic program give them?
Well, it gives them the opportunity to interact with industry professionals, to be with their family during a family time, because this is the main thing for me. This is what we all live on right now. We are all on our phones, day and night, and we're all texting. And children all over the world are how to communicate with their fingertips, not their mouths. They're not learning how to sit down and have conversation. And what I feel is, as wonderful as technology is, we're missing something as parents. So the value of going there and being there is for family time. Put the phones down, communicate verbally. Have the opportunity to express and communicate and learn how to do that. Because a lot of families, parents work very hard these days, and children are in their smartphones. So it's a great way for families to bond. That's the biggest value for me. The additional value are the celebrities that I bring in. How motivational and how inspirational would it be?
Who do you bring in?
We've had in our booklet and on our website, you can see all the kids that we've had. We've had Kenton Duty from Shake It Up, for example. He's a big kid on our show. We've had Eric Allen Kramer from Good Luck Charlie at our event. And these are people that motivate and inspire this young talent. So then you have parents who are there with their kids, and most parents have that channel on in their home, so they're recognizing and seeing the same celebrities and kids that their children like to watch. It's a great experience for everyone. Then on top of all of that, which is a tremendous benefit, then you're also learning about the industry. We have Q&As and workshops. We do an industry panel with industry people to help guide and instruct the parents on who we are and about the business. And then also we have a dance party, we have an awards night where we hand out cash prizes to the kids who get the top callbacks. And then at the very end, the industry professionals that are interested in working and seeing the kids do one-on-one time with them as well.
Great, so they get to ask the questions of the children that they want to know, and you're sort of up close and personal with them.
Exactly.
Lovely. So how does that differ from other structures that other places have set up where they go and sort of sign on with an agent?
Most kids don't have access to these industry professionals and to these celebrities. That's what makes our service so unique. You think about being in New Zealand, and you think about having the opportunity to meet the folks that you watch on television, to meet industry professionals from Australia like we have here today. We have a talent manager, Alex Reed, here today. We also have a casting director here as well from Australia. These are people that, whether they go to the event or not, they're actually meeting these folks today and reading for them today. So when you really think about it, you're, regardless of going to the event, the children today who are attending this interview are actually being seen by one of the top casting directors and one of the top managers from Australia here today, regardless of whether they go to the event or not. That is giving back to the community. That is providing opportunity and saying to the parents, this is a wonderful day for your family to go out and have fun and experience this. And if you choose to go to the event in the U.S., wonderful. But if you haven't, you've actually accomplished a great goal today. You have actually auditioned for 2 industry professionals from Australia by being in New Zealand, by living here. Beautiful.
Why come to New Zealand at all?
We had great success in Australia. That's why. I have our Australian Director of Talent here, Holly Judge, who's going to speak with you. And she has a long list of children and success stories to talk to you about. That's why we're here. It was really a great success for us.
Some of the criticism that you've had is because people say that you're using children to take advantage of parents and get their money off them. What's your response to that?
I don't see how I'm taking advantage of children. How am I taking advantage of children? Can you give me an example?
Because the children sort of latch on to this kind of dream that some are saying is unrealistic. Not every child will get to be the Taylor Swift or the Justin Bieber.
And there's the crux of it right there. That's not the reason to go to the event. You're not going to the event to become a star. You're going to the event just like any parent would get their child involved in any other extracurricular activity. Hockey, soccer, baseball. It's the same reason you go to the event, to build their confidence, to build their self-esteem, and do it in a fun and safe environment that would allow their child to grow as an individual, as a person. If anybody tells you that this is about becoming famous, or making, as the Herald would say, making promises to people, which we don't do, that's their way of selling newspapers. That's their way of creating ratings, because we don't make promises, and nor do we tell people that they're going to become famous. That is an assumption that's made so that ratings can be generated.
The other thing that I've read online is that some people say, you're saying it's to inspire confidence and build these children up, and that may be just be so.
Mm-hmm.
But some people have criticised you in saying that, bringing talent scouts and people like that, and then perhaps not the trained professionals that should be showing sort of kids with low self-esteem how to become confident. I mean, you've grown up with drama and acting, I guess, so you know that is a tool that you can use in that way, but what's your response to that?
The response is that parents are ultimately the decision makers for their babies. And if a parent feels as though it's the right opportunity for their child to go to the event, and they think it's actually going to help them, and the value is going to be that confidence and that self-esteem, then you do it. If they feel as though they spent 2 hours meeting a top casting director and a manager from Australia, and that was good fun in Auckland for 2 hours, I see value in that too. So I think it's a win no matter what.
And as far as people saying it's a lot of money, what do you have to say there? I mean,
it is a lot of money. It's very expensive to go. The production that we put on at the Swan and Dolphin Resort is a tremendous production. It costs a lot of money to put the event on. So, there are costs involved to pay for the event, to pay for the production of it. That's true.
Is there anything else that you'd like? Have you had a chance to check out some of the kids today? Have they had a chance to perform for you?
I've had a chance to talk to some of the parents, and what I appreciated about the parents is when they were talking to me about their children, they were discussing with me all of the different activities that the kids do. One was, doing things that normal kid things that the kids do here. And I quite frankly, this is such a unique opportunity for them and for these kids that they would never otherwise have the chance to do something, anything remotely like this. I think, I was talking to one mom who was telling me that they were out picking pistachios, and just living a normal life. The world, every country is a little bit different, and the world is very different. In the United States, it's big on the iPhones, it's big on technology, it's big on the texting. And a lot of the parents that I talked to here today were very conscious of that. Many of them were very conscious of the fact that they didn't want their children getting sucked into their phones or the internet per se, and they wanted them to sort of have a balance and have a regular, normal life. Kids that are here are getting an opportunity that in many ways is so unique and so special that I hope that they take that with them in a very positive way. I hope it motivates them. I hope it inspires them. Because regardless of whether they go to the event or not, these children should be very proud of themselves that they actually did something today that they would never have the chance to do if we weren't here.
What are some of your success stories? Do you have some of those?
We do. We have a lot of success stories on our website. We have several kids. We have one child who did an episode of Shake It Up. We have another child who just did the film The Sitter with Jonah Hill. But again, even though we have success at doing that, the real success are the kids getting the confidence and the motivation and inspiration from the experience. That's really what it's about. I want to really focus on that. It's really cool that the kids get the chance to, meet these industry professionals and do this. But again, I must stress to you, the reason why they come to the events is because of the life skills.
How many kids, how many years have you been doing this? Sorry, I did ask you, but
We've been hosting the event now at the Swan and Dolphin since early 2010.
And how many children have been through it during that time?
Many. We have thousands of children from all over the world who attended the event. We've had children from London, Canada, Cape Town, South Africa, Australia, and now New Zealand.
Lovely. It's great.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Should just set that mic off you.
Couple of shots, yeah. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover off?
I think I wanted to. I think what I wanted to cover was definitely wanted Holly to talk about the success stories from Australia. I'd also like to address really just the concern and why there's concern. I guess you mentioned to me that people find this to be such a unique opportunity.
Yeah.
In what way do you think that I can help bridge the gap of understanding for folks here? How can I help?
I think for us in New Zealand, I mean, we just don't. For us, it's just that it's so new. And that's just, I don't really think there's a way that you can change that aside from doing it more often. You know what I mean? I think that you can always make that about, I think.
Yeah, it's funny because once people understand the product, once they understand that it's an opportunity for their kids to gain those life skills and meet celebrities and industry professionals at the Swan and Dolphin at Disney World, they see real value in it. What the Herald portrayed is something that's sort of something that's almost dramatic and sinister in a way, which creates a lot of drama. And I know it's to sell newspapers, but it's not something that is reality.
They mentioned something about kids not being able to do something and stuff like that.
I don't have that issue. You know what I did is I also researched the law here. There's law here. There's consumer protection law here. And you know, I've had two firms here, you know, do research for me and tell me what the rules are and things. And those are the rules that we follow by. We go by the laws of wherever we're at. If it's a, you know, if we're in Cape Town or if we're in New Zealand, we follow the local law. And that's what we do. I mean, we have to abide by the law. So I don't know of anyone who is. Where have you seen that?
I saw that when I was doing my sort of research.
Well, I think that also creates good drama too.
Yeah.
You know, because I've had situations where, for example, I'm sure there are going to be parents here that have read the Herald. I'm sure that there are parents that will see this broadcast.
Well, to be honest, some of them said they saw the deal and that's why they came down because they wanted to be here. You know, saw that it was in town, that's how they found out about it. So it hasn't been all bad.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. What I'm saying is that it's, what happens is, like, for example, we'll meet families today. We will see some families that will probably want to go to the event. And we'll see your broadcast, I guess I'm assuming Monday night?
Yeah.
Okay. And then based on how you present the story, we'll determine whether or not they think they made a good decision or a bad decision.
Yeah.
So you can appreciate from my perspective, you've got three different truths going on.
Yeah.
You've got the perception of the Herald. You've got the reality of what we do here. And then you've got the story you're going to tell. So what it does for people is it gives them the impression of, well, who do I believe? So that's the difficulty in the whole situation for the parents and for the kids, because they're then put in a position where they're not sure what to believe.
And some might say that's just an early lesson at living in the public eye though, in that industry though, wouldn't you?
What's that?
Some might say that's just an early lesson at living in the public eye for them.
But no, I don't think so. I don't think it's a lesson of living in the public eye. These kids are not meant to live in the public eye. These children are simply meant to do something if it's a good fit for them to go to the event, to learn about themselves, not to live in public life. You see what I'm saying? There's a very different line there. And I think parents take, obviously, the first line of responsibility for their kids.
And at the moment, they haven't had seats, have they?
Correct. No, nothing. And if they're invited to go, and I also want to say, too, that just because it costs money to go to the event doesn't make it a scam. If there's value to the product, then
How
people
is
feel good
that
about that.
value measured?
It's measured by the happiness and the success of the families once they get there and they go through the experience. Because once they get to the event, they realize what a wonderful time it is, not only to bond as a family, but also to be inspired and motivated by the celebrities and the industry people that are there. They love it. I tell you, when they come to the event, I'd say by day 2 of the event, I have them stopping me in the hallway and thanking me for the experience and thanking me for going. And I have parents who are very honest with me about the different things they see online and the different, because what's happened is I've had many parents that, the ones that are so happy, which is the 99% of them that are really happy, they are the ones that always say to me, hey Michael, why doesn't someone do a positive story on it? Why doesn't someone actually take the time to get all the facts and say something positive about what you're doing for these children? It's, you go to a restaurant, and let's say you go to a McDonald's, and you pay $1 for a hamburger, or you go to a fancy restaurant downstairs, you pay $35 for a steak. The perceived value of that is the experience, is the taste. If you go to the event, it does have a high price tag, but once you experience it, you'll realize that it's a wonderful value, and it's a great time. And I think that families, the message needs to get out there. That's why I'm sitting here with you guys, because I want people to understand that this is something that is of true value and of a wonderful experience as a family, especially me being a father, because as a dad, I understand, I truly understand that the value in this has to be the life skills. And if something happens above and beyond it, Holly, the talent director for Australia, will come out and talk to you, but that's all well and great. The kids get callbacks. It's all well and great that they're, the industry people are here today, but the genuine value is you have a young person and a family that come down here today, and if all they get from it is, wow, I did that. Wow, I auditioned for that casting director. Wow, I auditioned for that manager. How cool is that? Yeah, we can't afford to go, or maybe we can afford to go, or maybe we don't want to go. But how cool is that experience? And I think that that's the message that needs to get out to people. I think that's the message that everyone needs to understand. And I think that everyone is very quick to judge. And they need to understand all the facts. So what I would want to add to is I would implore you to do a positive story rather than a negative story. That's what I would implore you to do.
Is it expensive or is it value for money? Like, how is it the pricing that you've got? Some are saying, well, $7,000.
If you are blessed enough to afford to do something like that and get that kind of an experience out of it, then that's wonderful. It's the same thing as going to university. I look at it as the same way when you go to a university and you're going to a top university, and in the United States, let's say it's a Harvard University, and parents say, "My goodness," to their child, "I would love to send you to that university, but it's just not in our price range." It's the same type of thing. If the family cannot afford to go and get that full experience, then that's okay. If they do a lower package, that's okay too. But in the same breath, the universities don't always promise, they don't guarantee you anything. you get an education, you get an experience, but you're not promised a job at the end. And it's the same thing with this. We don't make promises to people. We're not telling people anything of that sort. What we're providing to them is a beautiful time as a family and a wonderful motivational and inspirational experience to bond as a family and to do it in a fun and a safe and educational way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
Okay.
I think my sunglasses will be given.
That's,
Oh, I believe this.